So welcome back, everyone. I got a newbie with me, and I love it when that happens. My next guest is Marcus Seiter, and he's the owner of Seiter Law. Welcome to the show. I first want you to tell everybody first a little bit about yourself and what kind of law you practice.
Okay, well, my name is Marcus Seiter, as you said, and I pretty much a Valley native. I was here when I was 2, so I don't know anything else. Grew up here, went to Horizon High School, and then actually that's the 2 years I didn't live here. I went on a 2-year mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Nice.
After that, came back, went to school, and it was also in the Marine Corps Reserves.
Oh, well, thank you for your service.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's a veteran-owned business. A few years back, actually now it's been over 15 years back, decided to go back to law school and then open up Seiter Law, doing estate planning, wills, trusts, powers of attorney, and hopefully peace of mind.
You know what? A lot of people, I talked to you a little bit about this before you came on. With this subject, for some reason, people don't like to talk about it, or they put their heads in the sand with it, and it's probably the number one conversation that people should have.
Well, I think a lot of people do shy away from it. I don't know exactly what it is, other than it's not fun to talk about what happens if I'm not here. I think some people feel like they don't have a lot of control over that, and that's true, and of course people will miss you, but the truth is you do have a lot of control over what you could do and can do and maybe should do.
So is the importance of it just having the control, or what are the other reasons?
I think a lot of people have values that they live by, that they built their life around, whether it be financial or otherwise. There's a legacy that they built, whether they acknowledge that or not, and I think in the back of their mind is the idea that that will all be gone. It doesn't have to be.
Now I want to talk a little bit about you. Okay. So number one, you do free consultations, and he has 100 plus 5-star rated reviews on Google. You could check him out on his website, which is Seiter, Seiter Law PLLC.com. You're located in Tempe, but you can help people statewide.
That's right.
And his phone number is 480-345-3300. This is an important conversation, and I think anyone who hasn't done it, they really should.
Yeah.
A question that I'm going to ask you that's not on here.
No
I
problem.
love doing this,
Yeah,
especially when you knew. Let's say somebody has already done one but hasn't looked at it for a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do second opinions?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Of course.
A
yeah.
lot of people have to dust them off and bring them out and kind of look at them, because I have to tell you, I had one that was a while ago, and not maybe 5 years ago. Okay. And I had some surgery about 5 months ago, and it was one that was a little bit like, I thought, I'm going to check that out. I'm going to make sure everything's still right. How much on it was still needed to be done, still needed to be updated. It was amazing. So people out there, listen up, because even if you have one, you ought to check it out. Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So you do those as well.
We do.
So what is the most common mistakes that people make when they do them or not do them?
Well, I think sometimes one of the things that I wish I could get in the living room or just talk with people that think they put a plan together, when a lot of times it's not really a plan at all. Like, I know a lot of people they call it the poor man's will, where they'll just take their accounts and their house, and maybe they'll have their oldest daughter or oldest son be on there with them as a joint owner, and that will avoid probate, and yes, things will transfer to them, but it can create all sorts of problems that people don't realize. There's also people who have put a plan together, whether it be through an online service or a do-it-yourself thing, and they don't realize that while you can effectively put a legal plan together, there's a lot of times where those actually won't meet your wishes or will create more problems than you might not have imagined going into it.
So the importance of going to an attorney is what?
Well, I'm a little bit biased. I'm an attorney, but
that's why I want you to say it.
The hope is that when you go see an attorney, they can help you validate some of the things that you've done and help you then see maybe what you wouldn't have seen had you not had the training that we've been given and that we've seen by experience, people that have fallen into various, shortcomings or shortfalls.
So, okay, so let's talk a little bit about this one. Your firm focuses on making the process simple and personal, okay? So I want you to talk about what that means, because, you know, a lot of people, when they think about attorneys, you know, they go, oh, I gotta go in there, it's gonna be, I'm gonna be sitting at this big conference table, and they're gonna be telling me what I gotta do, or whatever.
Yeah.
Tell me what you mean by that.
Well, there's some things we do that probably other attorneys do as well. I mean, when people call in or email, they'll talk to either me or one of my assistants. My main assistant is actually my wife, and she's my paralegal. So it's a family-run business also. We explain the process. We do offer the complimentary consultation. We'll ask people to to take time to go through a questionnaire. That part doesn't feel very personal, but it asks some deep questions and helps people really think through what their wishes are and also what their values are, who their important people are. That way, when we sit down and talk, we can really dig deep and talk about what matters to them, and then it's me they're meeting with.
I really like that.
Yeah.
I like that you have them fill out a questionnaire, and you're, like you said, go dig deep. I like
Yeah.
to narrow and deep. I really like that. Now, you do free consultations. Again, 100+ reviews, 5-star reviews on Google. You can check him out on his website. It's Seiter, Seiter, law, PLLC.com. The phone number, it's 480-345-3300. He's located in Tempe, but he helps people in the entire state. I do want to also say there's a lot of people out there that they wait to do it, and maybe they are, you know, they don't think about the fact that they might be incapacitated. They always think this is going to make them die, right?
Think about their mortality.
But what happens if they don't, and now they're incapacitated? How important are these papers?
Well, that incapacity is usually very fraught. I mean, not only are people going through a very confusing and difficult time, whether it be themselves or loved ones watching them, but then oftentimes there's not a mechanism in place to make sure that bills keep being paid, that doctors' visits are still happening, that portfolios are still looked after. And so you have to have someone that's in place, someone you trust, someone you care about, that not only knows that they're the right one to go and do that, but also can be recognized by the institutions, the banks, the doctors, as actually having authority to do that.
You know, if you think about it, you cannot call Amazon without them checking who you are.
Right. Yeah.
So the world has changed completely. We all know how important these papers are, but a lot of people put their heads in the sand without doing it, and then something happens, and then boom, there's trouble.
And it's harder now than it used to be.
I bet.
Yeah, well, with identity theft and fraud and all sorts of things, we talk a lot about elder abuse and other things. The law is set up to try to protect people in their identity, which is great. But in situations where you want someone other than yourself to be in a position to make choices for you, choices that you want made in the way you want to be made, those same laws that were there to protect you can actually make it much more difficult when the time comes if you haven't put the right papers together.
What's the most important piece of paper they should have?
Well, in this conversation, probably the power of attorney. It's one of the most basic financial power of attorney, which is probably a misnomer. It covers a lot more than just finances, but banks don't want to talk to anybody but the account owner. And unless you have a legal paper that says, I trust this person to act in this circumstance, then you need a court order, and that's a nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say another story really quickly. My ex-husband's mother just passed very recently. The whole time, for the last 20 years, she's been saying this, everything's okay, everything's worked out, everything's fine, don't worry about this, that, the other thing. And the first thing, right off the bat, her cremation wasn't paid for. So right away, I mean, things like that come up. There's also another thing, when you talk about probate, oh, that was all taken care of, don't worry about it. And then, oh, guess what? There are some things that maybe it's sort of how it's worded and all that kind of thing. This is where you need an attorney.
Yeah,
right?
For sure. I mean, I've seen, for better or for worse, this is not rocket science, but at the same time, there's some technical aspects to it. And if ever you have to have loved ones who are also grieving, are thinking about who it is or what it is they wanted, and they're trying to interpret a piece of paper, two non-trained people are going to look at the same piece of paper and think different things.
Absolutely.
And so it's important if you go with like an online company or something like that, you're not gonna get the same type of like, have you thought about this, and how would your daughter interpret that? You've told me certain things about her, and you've said things about how your family interacts. We can work through those things.
When you go try and do it yourself, they're not thinking that machine is not thinking about you.
Right.
That's where you come in.
Mhm.
Now, he is 5-star rated on Google, over 100 plus 5-star reviews. You could check him out on his website. It's Seiter, Seiter Law, PLLC.com. He does free consultations. He's located in Tempe, but he services the entire state. His number is 480-345-3300. Okay, we're gonna talk, okay?
Okay.
Because I'm gonna tell you how I would do it.
Okay.
Thank you very much.